Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat here. Grateful, recovering alcoholic and addict, as always. How we doing today, guys and girls? Hope you're all doing well. Let's see what we're going to talk about today. You know what we're going to talk about today? The fact that if I can do this, so can you. Okay? Because let me tell you, guys. My life is getting good. It's just nothing crazy happening just yet. I keep telling you guys it's going to blow up, and it's going to. It's inevitable, right? You can't make this many positive changes in your life and not have your exterior life eventually catch up. It's just common sense, really. And I'm not worried about that because honestly, I have so much more than I've had in decades, literal decades, guys. I've got my family I'm talking to nonstop, constantly. I'm on my own this week. And that's going better than expected. I literally haven't made a phone call yet to the contacts that I had planned on working for because I'm too busy, and that's great. And it's not, it's not through anything. Well, I mean, it's through everything that I've done, but I mean, it's because of everything I've done with God, guys. I've got into alignment with the divine, and if I can do it, so can you, and that's what we're gonna talk about today. Anybody, there's been a few new subscribers, so we'll backtrack a little bit. I just came out of rehab, the first of the year, really, like second or third of the year, something like that. I put myself in there in the beginning of December because it had gotten ridiculous, guys. I was knocking at death's door. All right, hooked on heroin, fentanyl, and no hope in sight. And back in, I don't know, September, October, I'd said a prayer and it felt a little bit lighter, so I started saying prayer every night, and eventually it broke me down. I was still working, I was still getting high, I was working way too much, I was getting high way too much, right? But as I said a prayer, and I was messed up out of my mind every night when I was saying the prayer. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but I was still doing it because I wanted help, right? I wanted things to get better, and boy, it took a little bit, right? It took a bit of convincing until I actually really, I just kept at it, and as I did, I started to hear a little bit of response, and it was, stirring within my heart, right, making me want, and really think about what am I doing? If I don't do something, this is not going to end, or it's going to end, but it's going to end in the worst possible way, right? Because you know, I'm 51 years old, guys. And I was doing heroin and fentanyl daily for like the last 15 years. That is not a recipe for longevity. It isn't. And I'm incredibly, incredibly blessed that I'm healthy like this. I go to the doctors constantly. I'm there every couple of weeks right now for my Sublocade and just getting checkups and getting all the stuff that I've ignored done for so long. Next week I get this thing on my face that grew from what looked like a pimple a couple of years ago to this thing, biopsied, and hope to God it's not not cancerous. And but you know what, if it is, I'll deal with that too, because that's life. And if it, God forbid it is, I'll deal with that sober, right? And another good point I'm going to bring up, first thing I do when I go into, like, if I walk in an emergency room because I cut my finger off, or not off, but deeply, right? The first thing I tell them is, listen, I'm an addict in recovery, no opiates, right? Because we all know, dude, painkillers don't do shit for pain. If you guys have real pain, tooth pain, something nasty, right? Take a Tylenol and a Motrin together. That's the best pain reliever I've ever seen. All right, better than Percocets that get you high. Not, it doesn't relieve pain. Tylenol, Motrin together, providing you can take them without it being a problem for you. It's the best pain reliever I've ever seen. It works on tooth pain. Need I say more? Right? It's not much worse than agonizing tooth pain. I know when I used to have some, I had a lot of it. Right? But I'm getting new ones next week, guys. Right? And beautiful thing, right? This is the things we get in recovery. And again, if I can do this, you can do this, guys. I was I mean, I've been to all the lows, guys. I talk about it. I've been sentenced to prison 16 times. I spent 3.5 years homeless on the streets. At that point, I was a daily IV drug user, right? And fortunately, when I came out of that, when I went to jail in 2016, the last time I've been to jail, as a matter of fact, honestly, I was there for like a civil infraction, and I asked the judge to give me 6 months because I needed it. Like, I mean, there's been times that I really, really wanted to get off the drugs, but I never found God. I never found faith. So even when I get off the drugs, should I, get locked up for 6 months? It's pretty easy to, stay clean for 6 months, right? And I went to a holding in a halfway house. So I think I ended, and even then somehow I didn't make a year, and I had just about a year in programs, right? How did I not make a year? I must anyway. I didn't. I know I haven't made a year. I think 11 months was the longest. That was the spell. I made 11 months, right? But yeah, I mean, but as soon as I'd leave there and get on my own, left with my own thoughts, and bring myself along with me, I go right back to getting high because that's all I know, right? It's all I knew at that point. And it's not easy to do the inner work, right? But if you're in addiction, chances are you've got some traumas either from addiction or from that brought you to addiction that you need to heal. So you got to do the work, guys, and that's what I've done. And I did most of the work myself. I mean, I have a therapist and IOP and intensive outpatient intensive outpatient therapy, right? I have the medically assisted treatment. I do the Sublocade because for multiple reasons. A, you don't get high off it, and B, you can walk away without withdrawals, right? And it's a monthly injection that keeps you safe from getting high for a month. Now, keep in mind, don't you could very well overdose. If you try to get a high over the Sublocade, you will die before you get high. So just keep that in mind, guys. Right? That's why I did it, because knowing that keeps me from even bothering trying. Like, I don't even think about it because I know I'm protected with that. That's why the choice I made for myself. But for you, do whatever works for you. But just make sure you do your research and have all the information on it. All right, guys. Again, if I can do this, you can do this, guys. And I'm thriving. Like, I've never been so happy in my life, honestly. And like I said, I did most of the work, just me and God. Praying, meditating, and as I did so, I started to get introspective and literally started thinking about, well, why is it I get high? Well, because I'm not being who I am, right? I'm not acknowledging how I feel. I'm not acknowledging what hurt, what didn't, because I wanted to think nothing hurt me and I was invincible and I could carry the weight of the world on my shoulders. I've always had a big heart, so I must be a great guy because I make everybody else feel good about themselves, so I must be wonderful, right? No, man. I've got traumas that stem back when I was a kid, like literally, like single digits, like 5, 6 years old, right? I mean, I grew up early and hard, right? And just went off the rails from there. Like, I mean, I think I've been arrested 17, 18 times before I turned 18 years old. Like in high school, dude, I was getting arrested like every other weekend. I almost didn't graduate my senior year because I had so many days absent. And when they said bring in doctor's notes, I'm like, no, I got court slips, right? That's not normal, guys, right? I literally brought in something like 22 court slips to get days excused, and I was able to graduate. But that was my life, okay? And then and that carried right on till I was 51 years old, guys. That's insane. It's terrible. You don't have to do that. And again, even after, with everything I've just told you, and that's just scratching the surface, guys. I just don't want to make these videos, 2 hours long. One of these days, I'll find a way to get my whole story out there, right? For anybody interested. But just know, I've been there. All the lowest lows that you guys have been through, like everything. I mean, literally everything, guys. I've been there, right? But I've forgiven myself. I've done the work. I've figured out who I am inside, what matters to me, right? And come to find out, guess what? Go figure. What matters to me is helping other people. That gets me out of myself and actually makes me feel good. Like, that's so 180 degrees from who I portrayed for the last, 50 years, right? But it's who I am, guys. Even in the days when I was homeless, running the streets of Waltham, shooting drugs, hustling, trying to find my next fix, dope sick as hell, if I saw a car broken on the side of the road, I had this thing where I'd always stop and get it, running. And I'm pretty gifted mechanic, so 99, I think just about every time I always got somebody running. And refuse payment, no matter how fucking broke I was, no matter if I hadn't eaten in days and hadn't showered in weeks, and like, it was bad, right? But still, I do that because that was just it was a rule I made when I was a kid. I'm like, you know what? I make money working, and this is gonna be a gift, and I like to do it just to freak people out, because here's this, clearly homeless kid that just fixed my car and he's refusing $20. Like, what? But I did that because I want people to know there's still good people out there, and I want to feel good about myself, right? So clearly, I'm not this, hard guy. I'm not some fucking tough guy, right? And I realize that today, which is why I'm doing these videos and finding other ways to be of service. I'm going on a speaking commitment at a halfway house in a couple weeks, and I'm so excited for that. I'm so happy for that. Because I'm finally realizing who I am and what matters to me, and being like a kind, fucking caring, giving person is who I am at heart. Wow, okay. And you know what? Today, I fucking love that. I love me for that. Like, that makes me so proud of myself right now. But if I didn't get quiet and find my relationship with God, I wouldn't have figured any of that out, and I'd still be struggling. I'd still be fighting against the tide, shoveling shit against the tide, and wondering why I'm getting buried, right? Wonder why I'm drowning, right? Well, guys, again, all the shit I've been through. If I can do this, you can do this. And just just stop and think about it, guys. Get into a program if you're addicted to something that's physically addicting, like benzos, heroin, and fentanyl, any of that shit that could cause you to go have a seizure, or just like you got to get into a program, right? You need some help as you detox, so do so, man. It's not bad. Like you sit there, oh, I can't commit to that kind of time. Listen, as we get older, guys, you blink and a year goes by. So committing to a month in rehab is nothing. It's nothing. The world keeps turning. Everything that's so important will still be there, right? Those that you think can't do without you for that period of time will love having you back 100%, so much more than they will miss you for that month that you're gone. They will be so happy to have you back. Just give it a shot, man. I'm telling you, it's so worth it, right? And the thing is, don't just go after being sober, right? Heal the shit that makes you go get high. Because when you do that and you really get into the root of it and you start to heal those things, life is amazing. Like, life is absolutely amazing. And doors start opening, right? I did a small side job today thinking it was not that big a deal. Come to find out, it's a contract that it doesn't have a plumber, and he just offered me all his work. Like, 2 days into going out on my own. Like, I mean, just good things are happening because I'm in alignment and I'm doing the next right thing. And I'm trying to get away from that. Like, I mean, I need to, obviously, I need to work and pay bills and whatnot, but and I'm starting to think, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to take on all this work. I'm going to get it. But you know what? I'm not going to keep it on myself. I'm not going to overwork myself to death. As soon as I have enough work, I'm going to find somebody that needs work and bring them along with me. And when I get enough work for 3 of us, I'll get a third guy. And when I get enough work for 4, I'll have a fourth guy. This is how people build businesses, guys. Like, all this profound shit that's so simple, I never grasped before because my head was always somewhere else. Fix the things you need to fix, and you can start figuring this stuff out, and you will thrive. Like, I'm not a genius, guys, right? You'll probably do 100 times better than I do, and I'm doing amazing. So give yourself a shot. Talk to God. Find a relationship. Pray, meditate, whatever works for you. Smart recovery, medically assisted recovery, whatever. Find your path. It doesn't have to be my path. Find yours. But do it honestly, and put a little bit of effort into it. Because, guys, the world needs you just like the world needs me. We all make a difference, right? We either put out positivity or we add to the negativity, right? So come on, let's stop adding to the negativity. Let's make this place a place worth, for our kids, worth living, okay? Guys, God loves you. I love you. If nobody else has told that today, I honestly do. We are all brothers and sisters. I want better for you. You should want better for yourself. Please, give yourself a shot. You are absolutely worth it. Thank you so much.